Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your home for the biggest Liverpool news and transfer buzz. Today, we've got huge updates as the Reds close in on a record-breaking move for Alexander Isak, with Newcastle already scrambling to react. Stick around, because this could be the signing that changes everything for Liverpool. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Yobe. Liverpool transfer verbally agreed at advanced stage as Isach allowed to go if three conditions met. According to reports, a Liverpool transfer is at an advanced stage, while Alexander Isak would be allowed to go on three conditions. Liverpool have already enjoyed a really successful transfer window as they are this summer's biggest spenders in Europe. They have invested around 290 mailers on additions, with Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, and Jeremy Frimpong among their notable additions. Despite this, Liverpool remain in the market for one or two more signings before this window closes, with Isach and Mark Guehi mooted as their main targets. The Reds look to have the necessary budget to force through these deals as several high-profile exits have raised funds, with Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, and Jarell Quansah leaving for sizable fees. There could be more departures before this summer transfer window closes, as Harvey Elliot remains heavily linked with a move elsewhere. Read. Alexander Isak should be raging at Liverpool. Not Newcastle United. Elliot is a great talent, and he's shown for England's U21s in the summer, but he was always likely to leave Liverpool this summer as he was only a bit-part player under Arne Slot in 2024-25. Now, a report from Empire of the Cop claims RB Leipzig are stepping up their interest in Elliot and are preparing an offer, while a verbal agreement has already been reached. According to sources close to Empire of the Cop, RB Leipzig are now preparing to submit an offer in the region of 30 meters, 25.9 meters, for Elliot, who Liverpool value at 40 meters, 34.5 meters, with that disparity potentially being bridged through structured payments and add-ons. The Bundesliga side have reached an advanced stage in negotiations over personal terms with the 22-year-old, and a verbal agreement is already in place, with the discussion now centered about a transfer fee. The player is understood to be keen on the move. Elliot's exit could boost Liverpool's chances of signing Isach, who reiterated his stance on an exit in a bombshell statement on Tuesday night. Journalist Ben Jacobs subsequently confirmed that Liverpool are prepared to bid again for Isach. Jacobs revealed on X, Alexander Isak hints at the lack of a new contract 12 months ago as being key in his desire to leave Newcastle. Statement a clear indication he doesn't plan to reintegrate. Liverpool are prepared to bid again if given encouragement. Understand 120-made British transfer record ballpark remains Liverpool's valuation. Unlikely should a new bid materialize. It will be close to 150 meters. Not a number Liverpool have ever been directly quoted. Sky Sports reporter Keith Downey, meanwhile, reckons Isach will be allowed to go on three conditions. Wissa was seen as the Callum Wilson replacement, not the Alexander Isak replacement. If they were able to land Wissa in the next few days, and I am expecting a bid in the next couple of days, and Liverpool came to the table offering 130, then Newcastle might have a decision to make, Downey said. If they are unable to bring in Wissa, then Isach will not be going anywhere. And that was what the statement was saying last night. If they were to find a gem with 2 weeks of the window to go and bring in Wissa, and Liverpool came to the table with a significantly higher bid, then I think Isach will be allowed to go. Liverpool and Alexander Isak transfer stance as Newcastle respond to statement. We've been clear Newcastle United make public statement over Alexander Isak's future after the Liverpool transfer target expressed his desire to leave on Tuesday. Newcastle United deny that Alexander Isak was told he would be allowed to leave this summer and say the conditions that would see them accept the demands of the Liverpool transfer target now are unlikely to be met. In a response to the want-away striker's explosive Instagram statement on Tuesday night, an official reply from Newcastle also insisted the forward will be permitted to return to the fold in time as the summer-long saga took yet another twist. Isach is determined to leave St. James's Park and was left off of the club's preseason tour of the Far East last month by citing a minor thigh injury. The Sweden international has been training alone all summer, having played no part in any of the Magpies' friendlies. Isaac was left out of the side that drew 0-0 at Aston Villa on Saturday afternoon, and is certain not to be involved when the Reds travel to the northeast for Monday's meeting between the two teams. Speaking moments after being confirmed as part of the team of the season in the 2024-25 PFA Awards in Manchester on Tuesday night, Isaac, who was not at the event, took to social media to release his first public statement around the furore, suggesting that promises have been broken behind the scenes. Newcastle replied later that night, and an official club statement read, "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract, and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates." Isaac was the subject of a $110 million offer from Premier League champions Liverpool that was instantly rejected at the start of August, but the two clubs could yet reopen negotiations before the transfer window closes on September 1st, and any agreement will likely be a British record. Isaac wrote on his Instagram story on Tuesday night, "I'm proud to be recognized by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League Team of the Season for 2024-25. First and foremost, I want to thank all my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who has supported me along the way. I'm not at the ceremony tonight." Liverpool's second Alexander Isak bid expected, with two conditions set out for Newcastle exit. The Premier League champions are preparing a second bid for the Newcastle star. Liverpool are expected to submit a second bid for top transfer target. Alexander Isak as Newcastle set the two things that must happen before they sell. With just 2 weeks left in the transfer window, news surrounding Newcastle star Isak's potential move to join Premier League champions Liverpool is starting to heat up. While Declan Rice, Mo Salah, and the rest of the PFA Team of the Year enjoyed the awards, Isaac decided not to join his fellow star players and instead spoke out on his transfer links for the first time. In a damning post on social media, Isaac claimed that Newcastle had broken promises made to him ahead of the summer, leading to the Geordie club releasing their own statement claiming they do not expect to sell him before the window closes. But it appears that Newcastle's claim will not stop Liverpool from submitting their second bid for their top target. Earlier in the summer, Liverpool made their rumored interest in Isaac public by submitting a bid believed to be worth $110 million plus add-ons. However, the bid was almost immediately rejected, leaving many fans to assume that Liverpool would turn their attention elsewhere, especially given the fact that they had already signed Hugo Ekitike. But, according to Sky Sports News' Keith Downey, this is not the case, as Liverpool are preparing to submit an improved bid, while Newcastle have laid out exactly what they need to happen before they accept. Writing in the Transfer News blog, Downey claimed, "Newcastle talked last night about the conditions of a sale. There were two conditions. One, the valuation of the player is $150 million. That is what Newcastle's valuation is. I still think they would probably do a deal for a little bit less than that, but I think Liverpool's $110 million offer that landed a few weeks ago is way short. So if Liverpool were to really seriously want Isaac, they would have to come to the table with a higher bid. Next, the Sky Sports journalist revealed that at least one new striker must sign for the Magpies in the final weeks with the window, something that they have so far struggled to do. Downey added, "The second is that Newcastle need to find a replacement. They tried on Benjamin Sesko, they tried on Hugo Ekitike, failed on both of those. They're actually even struggling right now, as we can see, to bring in a replacement for Callum Wilson, who left on a free contract. We've been telling you for weeks now that they've been trying to sign Wissa from Brentford. But he's seen as the Callum Wilson replacement rather than the Alexander Isak replacement, so they can't even get the second striker in, if you like. If they were able to land Wissa in the next few days, and I am expecting a bid in the next couple of days, and Liverpool came to the table offering 130 million, then Newcastle might have a decision to make. However, it would leave them very light on striker reinforcements. I said I wouldn't force move from Newcastle. When Liverpool came in, my mind was made up. Alexander Isak finds himself in a different situation to Georginio Wijnaldum, despite the midfielder once successfully sealing his own move from Newcastle United to Liverpool. One player who might sympathize with Alexander Isak's efforts to secure a move from Newcastle to Liverpool is Anfield icon Georginio Wijnaldum. Isach has been at the center of relentless transfer speculation this summer, with the Reds thought to be leading the chase for his services should he depart the Tyneside outfit. But his potential move is proving difficult to pull off, despite the striker making Newcastle aware of his wish to leave, with a $110 million offer from Liverpool earlier, this month being turned down. The transfer saga has become increasingly messy, with relations between club and player souring, as Eddie Howe excluded Isach from the team's preseason matches and the Swede trains by himself. Isach did not feature in Newcastle's Premier League. Curtain raiser against Aston Villa, where chants from his own fans branded him as greedy. On Tuesday, the 25-year-old issued a stunning statement in which he suggested he might not play for Newcastle again, claiming promises have been broken and trust has been lost. Among the various players to have moved from St. James Park to Anfield previously as Wijnaldum, who the Magpies supporters once also implored to stay. The Dutch midfielder, currently at Al Ettifaq, was snapped up by the Reds for 25 million after Newcastle's relegation in 2016. He became instrumental in Liverpool's triumphs in the following seasons as Liverpool lifted the Premier League and Champions League. Trophies Isach undoubtedly hopes to win, too. Unsurprisingly, Wijnaldum had no regrets over joining Jurgen Klopp's side, but remained grateful for the role Newcastle played in his development and insisted he did not force a move away. Speaking to the Liverpool Echo before his 2017 return, to face his former club, Wijnaldum said, "I remember my last game for Newcastle in the preseason when their fans were singing that they wanted me to stay. But when the opportunity came to play for a great club like Liverpool with such a great history, I had to take it. I hope they understand why I made that choice to go to Liverpool. When the previous season at Newcastle ended, I said publicly that I wouldn't force a move. When Liverpool came in for me, I made up my mind that I wanted to come here, but I wasn't going to force it, because I appreciated what Newcastle and their fans did for me." He continued, "It's always a special game when you play against your previous club. It was only 1 year at Newcastle, but that time there meant a lot to me. I met some great people who helped me to play good games in the Premier League, and it was because of them I got the move to Liverpool." Newcastle take immediate action after Alexander Isak's statement, with new striker bid. Newcastle were rocked by a statement from Alexander Isak over his future on Tuesday night, but have responded by making an improved bid for Brentford's Wissa. Newcastle have returned with an improved offer worth $40 million in total for Brentford's Wissa as they step up their pursuit of attacking reinforcements in the background of the Alexander Isak saga. Isach, 25, remains an ambitious target for Liverpool ahead of the September 1st transfer deadline, with the Premier League champions already seeing one significant offer for the Sweden international rejected. But with Isach releasing an explosive public statement on Tuesday night, it remains to be seen if he will still be a Newcastle player beyond this month. The Magpies were already in the market for attackers following the departure of Callum Wilson earlier this summer, and Wissa, 28, has emerged as a top target following his stellar 2024-25 campaign for Brentford. And after seeing an initial offer of 25 million rejected last week, Newcastle have now lodged an improved proposal consisting of 35 million with a further 5 million in add-ons as they bid to wrap up a deal for the DR Congo star. However, The Athletic report that said proposal has promptly been rejected with Newcastle still some way short of Brentford's demands. Wissa is desperate to force a move and did not feature in their Premier League opener on Saturday. He also removed all Brentford-related content from his Instagram account over the weekend as the saga involving him and the Bees turns toxic. Even if Newcastle are successful in their pursuit of Wissa, it is unlikely that his arrival alone would lead to Isach getting the move he desires. In a statement shared via Instagram on Tuesday night, Isach broke his silence on the saga that has dominated the narrative on Tyneside this summer, insisting promises have been broken and trust has been lost between himself and the club. Newcastle, though, issued a response of their own and are prepared to stand firm on their 150 million valuation of the player. They said, "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates." Liverpool approve record Isach transfer in 165 million double deal, with medical being organized. According to reports, Liverpool have approved a 165 million double deal as they look to close the signings of Alexander Isak and another top target. On Tuesday evening, Isach and Newcastle laid their respective cards on the table with clear statements on this summer's biggest transfer saga. Newcastle's response to Isak's broken promises claim was that they remain firm on their position to keep the Liverpool target and are open to his return to the first team when the time is right. However, Liverpool's interest is not going away, and an update from Fabrizio Romano on Tuesday reiterated that they are very ready to improve their bid. For Isach, if when they get the green light from Newcastle, the Reds have already splashed out around 80 million to land Hugo Ekitike, but Isach is widely reported to be their dream target, and they remain interested in the world-class striker who scored 27 goals in 42 games last season. Liverpool have had a bid worth around 110 million plus 10 million in add-ons rejected by Newcastle, who are reported to value their prized asset at around 150 million. Alexander Isak should be raging at Liverpool, not Newcastle United now. The Sun are reporting that Liverpool have approved a record transfer for Isach in a 165 million double deal, including Crystal Palace standout Mark Guehi. The Reds are said to have sanctioned a British record 130 million move for Isach next week and are confident that Newcastle will finally let the want-away striker leave, while they still want Guehi for 35 million. Regarding Arne Slot's stance on Isach and the possibility of a part-exchange deal, the report adds, a report from Dave Akop, meanwhile, claims Liverpool are closing in on Guehi, and this deal could be completed as early as this week. The England international is available for a cut-price fee as he is in the final year of his contract, and the report notes that he has already agreed terms with Liverpool.